Well, hello, kids. Actually, plugging in my microphone may be useful if I want to stream. How is everybody doing? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of The Abyss, the weekly edition, the original. I'm your host, of course, the Eternal Abyss. Gonna take a sip of my drink here. Not coffee. Nope. That's only for the Abyss AM streams. Hello, Button Naked Gaming. How are you doing, sir, on D Live? And I want to say hello to everybody else on D Live or YouTube or Periscope or Bitwave, especially Bitwave, my primary streaming platform. I cannot talk today. Coffee is for closers. But coffee is good in the morning, though. There's nothing wrong with a little coffee in the morning. And there's nothing especially wrong with espresso. Espresso is like better than general coffee, in my opinion. I think it is. That's just me. So, actually, let me check one more thing just to make sure. Yes, my filter's turned on. Perfecto. Oh boy, so we got a couple things to talk about. We're gonna talk about deadly guacamole. We're gonna talk about George Floyd. We're gonna talk about voter fraud. We're going to talk about a couple different things here, and we're going to have some fun. This is, as I mentioned before, a more interactive version of the Abyss. And if you want to call in, we take call-ins. Just go on the Discord. Discord is in the description, so go ahead. You guys can do that. Go to the waiting room, and I'll give you a 30-second blip, a 40-second blip, something like that. Come on, say your piece, say something, kind of like a call-in radio show. That's kind of what how I have this set up. Or if you just want to listen and just chat through chat, we can do that too. You don't have to go on microphone. Completely up to you. I have one bit of maintenance to do still on social media here. I just need to make sure I post and reshare and do all this kind of fun stuff on social media here, because you gotta do it. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And since it's something that we gotta do, we gotta do it. Right? Just posting here on Twitter and on my other platforms. There we go. So while I'm getting this situated here, you may hear some clicking here and there. Um, let's go into this news article that I just saw about a ex-mayor of upstate New York who was fatally attacked by a guacamole making machine. Apparently there was a high pressurized, well, I don't want to laugh, but I mean, it's kind of like that Dane Cook bit. There's some ways he was talking about, like, there's some ways that people die. You just laugh. You don't want to. You just do because it's so absurd and it's so funny, or not necessarily funny, but it's just absurd. In this case, it's by the hand of guacamole. It's by, I mean, you got the an ex New York State. I mean, yeah, state a New York mayor, an upstate New York mayor. So not New York City, just the state itself, somewhere up in northern New York. Joseph Cap, Dr. Joseph Cap, 67, a businessman and former mayor of upstate New York. He was killed by this guacamole machine. They were at he and two other people were at the Innovative Test Solutions, an engineering firm. Uh, and something happened with the machine and it exploded. I mean, I am not aware. This may be the first recorded death by guacamole in human history. I don't think I don't think there's anything else on the record. So yeah, I've seen articles like that already. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Joe Biden. Don't worry, we're gonna get to Uncle Creepy Joe. Don't worry, I've seen those articles. Thanks for posting them, troll. KXDQ. Yeah, yeah, those are fun. Oh boy. So, but I was saying, like I was saying, like this news article just came up now, so that's why it's the first thing I wanted to talk about because it's just insane. The other two people that were with the former mayor, they just sustained injuries. They're nothing fatal. But wow, how how do you go and explain that one to like the family? I mean, it's not even a good way to go with guacamole. At least like if you eat yourself to death, at least you're eating guacamole. At least you're eating yourself to death. At least it's something, not bad. But this way, wow, that's just rough. That's incredible. I can't get over it. I really can't. It's really weird to me. But sometimes people bite it in a very unusual way. What are you gonna do? Whoa. So moving on. Yeah, another thing that came out today was Uncle Joe. He is the gift that keeps on giving. It's incredible to me, the stuff that keeps coming out of that man's mouth. And yet, people defend him. People want him to be the president of the United States. Um so yeah, this is the latest and greatest. He says in a video, you know what? I'll play the video. I won't even say it myself. I'm going to bring the video up. Give me a second here. Let's see if I don't boomer this up. We're going to try not to. But hey, I make no promises. Let's see here. Yeah. Let me do something here because what the chat's going to be. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can get away with this. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to try and see if I can get away with this here. You guys see everything okay? I think that's good enough. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. See, that's the problem with how I have the chat organized here. It just takes up too much screen real estate. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But here we go. Take a look. Oh, wait. 1 second. We need volume, of course. Here we go. Let's go back.
By the way, I put that program together to provide. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Are you going to re-engage with Cuba, though? I mean, I'm specifically wondering about, the Florida
Yes.
communities that are,
Yes.
incredibly interested in the Cuba issue, and see
Yes.
status given to Venezuelans while Cubans are being deported.
The answer
will
is
you
yes.
re-engage
I'm
with
going to
Cuba?
engage. Yes. Yes. And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very different, a very diverse community.
Oh, Joe. Joe. Why? Why even bring that up? Hey, Troll JEGL. His last words, holy guacamole! Yeah, the guy that, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that's good old Uncle Joe, the gift that keeps on giving. I have something here that I think is an appropriate sound for, because I think this rang throughout the whole campaign offices of Biden when they heard him say this. Give me a second here. Why is this taking so long to load? Okay. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Oh man. I mean, this is the problem here. This is the biggest problem with Joe is that one, he's just not there. He's just not there cognitively. The guy just rambles on, talks about stuff that has nothing to do with anything. um, Curb Your Enthusiasm theme? I don't know about that. But what did I do with my phone? Oh, it's right here. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, in this discussion, he had no reason to bring it up. He had no reason to bring it up. That was a point that was completely outside of the scope of discussion that they were even addressing. I mean, why? Why? Joe, why? Yeah, that pretty much sounds like him. Come on, man. The trolley is late and you're not on it half of butterscotch ice cream. The guy just is. And apart from that, I mean, it's apart from even that, it's just the fact also that he just says stuff that's. I mean, people are gonna claim that that's racist because he pretty much said that all black people are the same. Oh God. Can you imagine if a Republican said that? Can you imagine if Trump said that? That's kind of what I'm talking about here. It's like the media is going to defend him. The DNC is going to defend him. And I know the Democrats are going to defend him because, they're going to defend each other no matter what. But he pretty much said that all black people are the same. You can't deny that. Nobody can deny that. He said, "Is that true?" Sold out. Hey, sold out. By the way, he said that Biden told a black reporter that he was on crack. Wow. Oh wow. Trump ate a taco salad. That's how he got your vote. Taco salads can be really good, actually. Hey, I'm not knocking taco salads. I would not dare. Yeah, see, that's the thing with Biden. I mean, Biden, he is obviously not very racially sensitive. Let's put it that way. And on top of the fact that he doesn't know where he is half the time, and he has said racist things in the past too. No kidding. He called him a junkie when he asked him to take a cognitive ability test. I think he should take a cognitive ability test. I know that they were claim. This is the funniest thing, though. See, this is the thing. Okay. Everybody was saying garbage against Trump when he was running on the campaign. He was mentally unfit. He was psychologically unfit. All this, he didn't have the cognitive abilities. They were saying that all this stuff. And now you have Joe, where it's actually true. You have Joe, where you aren't sure what the heck's happening in there. You don't know if all the gerbil wheels are running. Oh, YouTube link, let's hear it. Okay. Hold up, let me bring this up here. There we go. Oh, that's huge. Let's see if I can, there we go. There. Oh, I need audio.
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you...
Jeez. Is the video not running on the stream? Hey, Mabiji Death Squad, thank you for the lemon. Much appreciated. Hold up. I think there's something wrong here. Is the video, do you see the video going, or just the audio? Like, is the video just frozen? Okay, it's just frozen. I don't know why it's doing that. Normally it works just fine when I do this. Oh yeah, he's got Drumpf. He got Drumpf. I'm sure, yeah. As long as he's able to actually find the debate and the podium, like the debate stage and the podium, he may just walk off it. I don't know. The guy's just out, completely out of it. The guy is just not there. It's absolutely not there. It's just not even a question. Honestly, at this point, it really isn't. It's just a terrible. This is a thing too. It's like, I'm not a fan of Joe. I'm the first to admit that I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. But it actually saddens me. And I really feel pity and sympathy for the guy when I hear him talk and just... Trump said we won't see him again. Wouldn't surprise me. Really would not surprise me. But, you know, the thing is, Biden, they're going to keep pushing him. He was supposed to do the vice president announcement this week. He's got until tomorrow. I don't know what he's waiting for. Maybe he's going to do it over the weekend. I don't know. They said like within the first week of the month he was going to make the announcement. He hasn't done anything yet. So we got that. Yeah, the guy, you know, if that guy wins, if Biden wins, I do believe he is a national security threat. I agree. I agree with that. His campaign is a mess. His campaign is a constant PR damage control. It is like not even funny how bad this is. And you have these ridiculous polls, and you have this nonsense where they're trying to make it out that he has some sort of like credence and lead, and that and the media is trying to portray him as, oh, he's definitely like a great candidate, etc. No, listen, the guy does not have the mental faculties at all. He just doesn't. And apart from that, the stuff that he says is highly inappropriate. He's acted in inappropriate ways. He's thanks Mommy G that squad on D Live for confirming that as well, that it was just the audio. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, why the video isn't going. That's just weird. But you know, it's incredible. It's incredible to me that that this is the decision they've made. This is the decision they've made. They decided to go with him. And it's just, like I've said this in my streams before. Every day I wake up thinking, you know, I've seen it all. I've seen so many crazy and stupid things in my life. And I think about it and I go, well, what else could I see? And what else could I hear that is incredibly stupid? And then there you go. The news comes out. The news comes out. Video clips come out. Elections like this. You have Joe Biden out there. The insanity just keeps getting bigger and bigger. He's not even going to go to the convention sold up. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised at that, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Why in the world would he, you know, the less exposure he has is better for the campaign. That's why they're trying to convince him to not do debates, and there's articles saying he should back out completely of any debate with Trump. Oh, I so want to see that debate. I so want to see that debate. I mean, if you thought that the Trump-Hillary Clinton debate was entertaining, oh boy. I mean, there's not going to be enough popcorn out there for me. Most definitely not. This is going to be like really entertaining. Chris Wallace? What about Chris Wallace? I haven't heard him. Hey, Spooks. I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, man? Now, what did he say? Let me see if I can adjust the chat here. Wait, what is this? Oh, it's a different form of... Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm multitasking here at the same time. I'm trying to figure out a couple things. So, let me do some quick maneuvering here online. I usually prefer not to do this while I'm streaming, messing with my interface, but this is a little disruptive here, the way this the not the Streamlabs, but the restream chat is. It's a little bit too much here, so I need to figure out how I'm going to rearrange this. You know, I may just end up doing kind of what I had before here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this up top. We're gonna put this down here. And I am going to move my slideshow. Over here, maybe make it a little smaller. There we go. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that's a little better organized? I think that's the best I can do here right now. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I think it'll have to do for now. Yeah, Rasmussen said that Trump is winning. That is true. Chris Wallace said that Trump wants the base because he's doing poorly in the polls. Maybe, but you know what? I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that's the case because Trump. This is the thing. See, with Trump, you don't necessarily need to do a whole lot because the media is going to cover him a lot. Whatever he says is going to be debated ad nauseum. So you're going to get into a situation where he's going to get the exposure anyway. So even if he doesn't have a direct debate with Biden, the fact that he's addressing Biden directly and then Biden replies directly, you're basically having the debate. It's not a formal debate, no, but I mean it's not going to really change much. Nah, I don't believe that. I think that Trump is the kind of person that if he's doing well, like in the polls, for example, and he has an opportunity to really grind someone down and decimate them, I think that he would do that. I think he would do more debates. So, so that's the thing for me. It's like he will do more debates if he has the opportunity. Why not? The guy Trump has no fear when it comes to debates. He went up against Hillary Clinton. He went up against every single Republican on the stage. He went up against reporters. The guy is fearless. So it's not going to be an issue. It was an incredibly dumb statement by Chris Wallace, but Chris Wallace does a lot of dumb statements. I mean, that's kind of what Chris Wallace does. His father was not a great reporter either. So I want to try something here too. Yeah, this is most likely going to give me a copyright strike. But I want to see if I can do... Because I have my Xbox up. Nope, that's not working. Why is that not working? Geez, OBS is really failing me today, isn't it? Yeah, forget it. Because I have my Xbox and I'm playing it right now. As I'm streaming, I'm multitasking, as I said, as I'm streaming. Forget it. It doesn't seem to wanna behave. Nothing wants to seem to want to behave properly today. Well, it is what it is. So moving on, let's move on to some other topics here as we talk. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk about George Floyd. So earlier this week, when I was doing some morning streams, some more body cam video came out, and I watched it. I checked it out. I wanted to see, what was really in there, what happened, what if there was any more information that came out. And I'm not gonna show all the clip, especially since I'm having some video issues here. It seems today I'm not gonna show the clips. I can't, but I will want to comment on what I saw. So this is what I saw. So the video shows the moment that the police approach the vehicle. They tap on the glass with the gun, with the flashlight, and he immediately starts going in a panic. And he's moving all around. He's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So within seconds, and this is all happening within the span of police going up, knock knock with the flashlight. George Floyd doesn't open the window; he opens the door. So he's already all agitated, and the policeman has a gun already in his hand. Because I don't know why that happened in that fashion. There's nothing beforehand that explains why he already had the gun ready in his hand. I don't know, but that's what he did. So throughout the entire video, George Floyd is panicked. He is all over the place. And he's just going on and on, rambling. He's just rambling and raving, somewhat incoherently, begging the cops, "Don't shoot me." You could tell that there was something wrong with him in terms of like he was already. You could see in some parts of the video he has something going on the corners of his mouth, like some of the foaming. He already had that. Again, like I said, highly agitated. He was hopped up on substances, and he was lying to the police, saying no, he didn't do anything. Of course, that he wasn't on any drugs, and the drug results obviously proved that wrong. He was like he had what, like 5 times, I think it was 5 times the normal, like the uh 5 times the level of fentanyl, I think, like in your average drug user, something like that. Yeah, call to this dispatch said he was under the influence. Fentanyl, meth, cannabis, and caffeine. Yep. Yeah, he was claiming a claustrophobia, even though there was nothing claustrophobic in his own vehicle. There's nothing claustrophobic when they put him in the back of the squad. The doors were all open. He was seated half in, half out, and already from there, because they brought him over from his car to the squad, he kept resisting. He kept resisting. Now, a lot of people are gonna say he wasn't resisting. He himself, during the video, was claiming he's not resisting. I'm gonna give everybody a quick tip here. And a quick primer what it means to resist a police officer. When a police officer tells you, do this, and you don't, that's resisting. That's the tip. You don't have to be physically resisting him. You don't have to be physically fighting him or trying to resist being arrested. It is just not complying is resisting a police officer when he's trying to arrest you. If he's asking you to step out of the vehicle and you're not. If he's asking you to put your hands on the steering wheel and you're not. If he's asking you to go to sit in the back of the squad vehicle and you're not. If he's asking you for ID and you're not handing it over and you don't give it to him. In the squad vehicle, he was claiming he couldn't breathe when nobody was on him, nobody was doing anything to him. He was claiming claustrophobia. And I'm not saying that throughout this entire thing he was lying. Maybe he really did have claustrophobia. I don't know. I don't know what his medical diagnoses are. I don't know what his medical files say. However, what I will say is, if he lied about being under the influence, he was hopped up ranting and raving. He was saying, I can't breathe, when obviously nobody was touching him or nobody was obstructing his breathing in any shape, way, or form. We're in this situation where now the police officers did what they did. He died. And there you have it. Now, the entire video shows two main things. It shows, one, this was not premeditated in any way. This was not intentional in any way. The police had no intentions to kill this individual. You could tell how they were talking to him. You could tell how they were treating him. They were trying to be patient with him. They gave him ample opportunity to follow the commands. And it's like, it's a sucky situation because he didn't have to die. But it's an even more sucky situation because he didn't. None of the riots needed to happen for this. None of the riots needed to happen for this. None of the looting, none of the rioting, none of the arson, none of the killings of like a police officer getting killed and injured, none of the protesters getting killed and injured, and the rioters and looters getting killed and injured. No statues needed to come down. So we're at this situation now. No, I don't think the riots were inevitable. I think that this was an opportune moment. They used this. They used this, obviously for political reasons, because the police had no racial motivations, for example. The video shows it clearly. There is a possibility that BLM would have just used any excuse to do the rioting because this is, like I said, it's obviously political. This was because it's election year. They used any excuse that they thought was good for them to use, it seems. And it's sad. It's sad all around because what the video shows that the cops are going to get off. I promise you the cops are not going to be found guilty of premeditated murder. This is going to be at most involuntary manslaughter. They're not going to get what the protesters and the media and the politicians and on the left want out of this. Not at all. Hey, Spooks. You got PSO2. I have PSO2 as well. I've been already playing it for a while. Maybe we should get into a session or something. I don't know. But sorry, I had to sidetrack because I saw chat talking about Fantasy Star Online too. Yeah, you know what? They're gonna riot. They're gonna riot again, even if the cops get off. No matter what, this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, because they're gonna use whatever happens. They're gonna use that as an excuse to create the anarchy that they want to create. I think it is cross-platform, Spooks. I believe so. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, there you go. It is cross-platform. Neato. Yeah, excellent. That's awesome. No, but and that's the thing here when it comes to the unfortunate political nature of what happened with this man's death. Now, some people are going to say, okay, so he resisted. Okay, so he was on drugs. Okay, he was a criminal. Okay, does he deserve to die? No, of course not. It really is a gem, Spooks. That is one of the best emotes, I find. But, it's unfortunate that we're in this political situation that we find ourselves in now, and that the Democrats haven't condoned it. They encourage it. They encourage lawlessness, and it's a shame. It's a real shame that this man had to die, and these people are using it for political posturing. They're standing on his corpse, dancing the rumba right now. That's what they're doing. And they're doing it all in the name of politics, all in the name of trying to dismantle the United States, all in the name of getting power. And it's sad. It's sad for the victim. It's sad for the survivor of the victim. It's sad for the police that are involved. It's sad for the city and all the people that were affected by this now. Because now you affected and you burned down a city. You ruined people's livelihoods. You killed people. You shot a cop and killed a cop. You've blinded people. You've permanently disabled people. Rioters also have gotten hurt. And protesters that got they got killed there at the Chaz baloney. All for nothing. Because if this video would have come out from the very beginning, I promise you it would have taken a lot of wind out of their sails. They could not be maintaining it up until now. This is the biggest problem that we have whenever there is some sort of situation where an individual gets killed by a authority figure, like be it police, agents, what have you. The media latch ons to it. They don't release the footage. I don't know why. Just to make things worse, release everything. As soon as it happens, release it. Especially in this case, that showed exactly pretty much what happened from beginning to end. It pretty much showed that the police officers weren't going after him for racial reasons. They weren't trying to kill him. They didn't go there with the intentions of killing him. Okay? It sucks. It really sucks. This situation sucks because, like I said, a man is dead. Other people are now dead because of the violence that has ensued from it. People's livelihoods are ruined. It sucks. It's just a stupid, dumb thing. Because people cannot be rational or pragmatic about things. They have to run on this emotion and they have to use things for political expediency. That's really what it boils down to. It's politics and emotions. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, that's really what it is. I wish I had a better take on this whole thing, but unfortunately it's not. So we're here. But we're going to move on. We're going to carry on. We're going to talk about some other news items that are happening. You know, again, speaking of politics and political expediency and things of that nature. The other things that's happening in the news. Sorry, I was trying to just collect my thoughts there for a moment. Like I said, I'm multitasking here. Facebook has actually gone out of its way in interfering with elections. I mean, this is blatant. It is blatant. It is explicit. It is exactly that. It is election interference. Nothing more, nothing less. You have Twitter doing the same. You have a video that was censored by Facebook, Twitter as well. And this was a video that talked about COVID, and it talks about kids and the fact that kids are mostly unaffected by the virus in the sense that they're mostly immune to it, as Trump put it. Now, if you look at the statistics and the numbers of the infections, very few children, virtually no children have died from the virus. And for the most part, there really isn't, at least from the reports that I've seen, there isn't really like a lot of situations where if a child catches the COVID virus, that they end up in like these really dire health situations. Now, I have read an article or two where you had a couple, like one or two children that passed away because they had all sorts of like birth issues, like they had health issues from birth, and they had some serious underlying health conditions, which it's already been said ad nauseum that if you have underlying health conditions, yeah, you're a much higher risk. But the fact that Twitter and Facebook are censoring, basically are interfering with government messaging, and they're interfering with the campaign. This is election interference, and it's voter fraud basically. And then you also have reports of a bunch of mail-in ballots that I think was in New York. There was this report that you had a bunch of mail-in ballots from New York that had no stamp or unclear stamping of when this was sent in, and New York was like, well, we'll count it anyway. Okay. I don't think that's how it should work, no. But I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with that. It was a former Harris staffer that was responsible for the ban? Wait, the former Harris staffer on Twitter reported the tweet? Is that what happened? Holograms? What holograms? What are you talking about? I mean, regardless of who's responsible, the fact that Twitter would censor Donald Trump, but whatever China says about the virus, they're like, oh yeah, that's hunky dory. I mean, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, like, that's just laughably stupid and laughably political. Laughably. Laughably. Oh, really? A former Kamala Harris staffer worked for Twitter and she banned the video. Well, see, this is something that I've talked about many times before about quote unquote tech tyranny. The fact that these technological companies wield way too much power on the national stage when it comes to news and media and and how they want to control it. And people argue with me, and I've said this before, people argue with me and say, oh, well, they're a private platform, they can do what they want. Well, no. There are certain rules that if you're an open platform, you have certain protections against liability for certain things that are said on your platform, because it's like, well, you're an open platform, you can't control what people say. But instead, if you're sorry, I was just reading chat here. Twitter also recently identified state-run media outlets, and they labeled the Chinese media as Chinese state media instead of CCP media or PRC media. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like they're giving China breaks, and they're trying to claim that they're an open platform because they want to have all the benefits of not being liable for that. But at the same time, they want to be able to be publishers, and they want to be able to edit what people say. They want to be able to control what people say and provide their own spin and bias and everything. Um, so so it's ridiculous that they're trying to play this game. It's ridiculous that they want to play this game. And it is a game that they're playing here. It's obvious. This is all obviously, like I mentioned, political. It's just it's like not even transparent. I mean, it's not even like subtle. They're just so transparent about it. That's the thing that's like really insane to me. And then they say stuff like that they're calling it the Chinese state media instead of for what it is. It's a communist media. It's a propaganda machine from China. It's like incredibly obvious to like most normal people. Yeah, I actually had heard some of this. Um, I had heard a news report that they're doing like these checkpoints in New York. Is that true? Can someone verify that for me? Is that true that that's happening in New York? Because I haven't I don't know. I have no idea if that's the case. So, I mean, from what I hear in New York, it's basically turned into the Third Reich. With Papers, Please, Gestapo, communism. I mean, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Hey, Mom Patch. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Military is going door to door in Australia. God, this is so just... Oh, unbelievable. I cannot believe the stuff that I'm hearing. I just really can't. I can't. I cannot believe that in the United States I'm hearing this stuff. This is the thing that really shocks the bejesus out of me, frankly. Yeah, exactly, Soldat. It is serious. You should take it seriously, but it's not let's burn down our republic kind of deal. Exactly. And then you like all the rich people that left New York City, yeah. And the state, some even left the state. You have de Blasio and you have Cuomo. Cuomo especially begging people to come back, saying, I'll buy you a drink. You chase them out of your city because you want to steal all their money. You treat them like crap and dirt. Like, really? And then you're begging them because you want their money again. Not because you care about these people in any shape, way, or form. All they want is their money. That's all they want. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is nothing but laughable to me when I hear news reports like that. Like Cuomo's a joke. Cuomo is a joke. He's probably one of the worst governors New York has ever seen, in my opinion. He's handled this whole coronavirus thing insanely poorly. He's murdered a bunch of old people, a bunch of seniors, by putting COVID people in senior homes. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, anybody that tells me that Cuomo has done a decent job, I don't think you live in reality. I just don't really think you do. You just gotta look at the numbers. You gotta look at the numbers. You gotta see what's happening with all the businesses that are, that are closing in New York. I mean, I've been to New York and I've worked there, and my business has brought me there and everything. It's not like I'm completely foreign to New York, and I've moved around in a lot of different places in my lifetime. No, he doesn't need to give daily presses anymore. Yeah, he's a prima donna. He's liking the attention because his brother gets a lot of attention on camera, and he wants the same attention because I guess he's jealous of. Have you seen when both of them are on camera? It is the cringiest of cringe fests. It is just a disgusting. It's a disgusting display to look at. It's an absolutely disgusting display. I've seen a couple of them. I've seen a couple of them every once in a while. The clips come up, and it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's just a joke. And I don't blame those people that left New York. I don't blame them for not want like these wealthy people that had the opportunity to leave. I don't blame them for not wanting to come back. Why would you? All New York would be doing is just taking your money. It's not like they'd be doing anything for you. There's no benefit to you. None at all. So I don't see any reason why these people need to be concerned about returning. I really don't. I don't see any real reason for it, to be honest. Let's see. Looking at the link that Troll sent here. Emperor Andrew Cuomo insane. Eat if you're drinking at a bar. Order. Yeah, like stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. The guy's just out of his freaking mind. If you go to a bar, you have to eat? Why? Who are you to tell me what to do at a bar? See, okay, you know, I usually don't like saying this stuff to politicians, and I don't like using a lot of foul language, but seriously, fuck you, Cuomo. Fuck off. My God. It's just dumb. Who do these people think they are? That they can control every facet of your life. That they can control what you eat, what you drink, where you go, who you hang out with, what you wear, what you don't wear. This is peak insanity right here. And it brings my blood to a boil. It's even beyond the police state. I mean, this is like police plus nanny state gone absolutely batshit crazy. It's like there's nothing left to the imagination. Like I said, like I can't believe the stuff that I hear sometimes. And this is stuff like this just wow. Ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. That's all I can say. That's all I can say and do is and just this is the frustrating thing. Like for someone like myself, what can you do against this? Cuomo will literally spoon feed you. Here comes the airplane style if you refuse to eat. Yeah, you know, maybe. I mean, on a serious note, it's like people like myself that are outside of this whole thing. It's like, what are you gonna do to fix this? How can you get rid of these people? How can you get rid of these people when they're in office like that? They're in power right now, and in a state like New York, or in a state like Michigan, or a state like California, where they're all blue, like it's all left leaning, all Democrat. They're gonna all vote Democrat all the time, no matter what, because it's not really because they vote someone in because the person is actually capable of doing anything. They vote these people in purely on because it's like Pelosi said. Pelosi said this about AOC, and she was absolutely right. It's like, well, if she was a glass of water with a D at the end of her name, she would have won that district. And that's what it is. You can have a D at the end of your name and you're in. Because it's not about who you are. It's not about your policies. It's not about what you can do to help people. It's just slap that sticker of Democrat on you, you're in. I have not seen that video by Sam Hyde or whatever. I don't really watch Sam Hyde regularly. Some of his videos are like really trippy. So we're really, this is just insane. This is just insane that what I'm hearing and seeing in this day and age. Like, are we really at this point now where we have checkpoints? People want to tell you what to eat, what to wear, what to do, what to not do. They want to fine you if you don't wear a stupid mask on you, which does virtually nothing to stop the virus because most of the masks that people wear are not rated for COVID-19. That for the microns, the size of it. It does nothing. Does it make you feel a little better, like you have some sort of protection? Yeah, sure. Okay. Does it catch some droplets? Yeah, maybe. But to destroy businesses, fine people. You want to fine people $10,000 if they don't quarantine. How are you going to even verify if this person's quarantined or not? How are you going to verify that? Are you going to post a police officer, Cuomo? Let me ask this. Is he going to post a police officer in front of every house of the person that's supposed to be quarantining when they arrive to New York? I would love to know that. Is that really what he's gonna do? Is he's gonna, even though they're defunding the police, they remove the, like, De Blasio removed the department from like some crimes unit from the police, and he's removing about $1 billion worth of funding from the police? They're gonna call. They do realize that 99.999% of the population has a cell phone, right? Which does not require them to be at the location where they think that the police want them to be. Are they going to access their phone illegally to get geolocation data to verify their location? Are they going to use, maybe they're going to use a dating app like Happen, so people can see if they cross paths with the people that should be quarantining. Maybe that's what they're going to do. I don't know. I mean, at this point, anything's possible. I don't even know what to think anymore. This has got to be the stupidest stuff I've heard in my life. And I wasn't even planning on talking about that today. That wasn't even on my radar. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Oh my god. Wow. I'm at a loss right now. After hearing that, I'm really at a loss. Welcome to Australia. So that's happening in Australia, that they're gonna call you. But what about New York? Like, how are they gonna verify that in New York? With the, because if you with the check, if they have checkpoints, apparently they're gonna check if you're from a certain state, I guess. And why haven't New Yorkers said anything about this? Like, I can't believe they find this acceptable. No, and nobody's complaining about this, is my surprise. Nobody's complaining about this. The NYPD has an intelligence section that has CIA level training. I imagine they might use them since they no longer help with crime. Well, maybe. Well, Australia is a terrible place. I would never want to live in Australia. Absolutely not. I have zero interest in living in Australia or even visiting. There would be only one reason. There would be only one reason why I would want to visit Australia. And the only reason I would want to visit Australia is because Australia is, home of cockatoos and cockatiels, and I love birds, and I would love to see them in nature. That's it. That would be the only freaking reason for me to go to Australia. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, it's just pure insanity. Pure insanity. I agree with you, Mom Patch, on that one. That's just, I don't even know what to think anymore when it comes to that. So, wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is a very educational stream today. I'm finding out a lot of crap. I really am. Oh boy. Another thing that's in the news. The Eternal Bird Watcher. Yeah, you bet. Birds are amazing. Incredibly smart. Super duper smart, actually. But another thing that happened in the news right now is that for the past week, there's been 5 or 6 times that they've been trying to reach a deal for the coronavirus relief funds. Donald Trump has been wanting to get this done, and the Democrats have been blocking it. McConnell has been trying to get voting to happen, and they've been trying to get a deal together. And like the Democrats don't seem to want to help people. It seems they seem to not want to provide any funds. The biggest arguments that they're having has to do with the fact, if I understand, that that the Trump administration wants to reduce the number a little bit, because you can't. I mean, you got to try and get the debt ceiling under control. Like all this money that's being spent is going to have a huge impact on the economy. You can't just have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being constantly spent, and you need to reopen the economy. And the money that people are getting right now, in many cases, not all, there are some that their industries are going to take longer to reopen, but there's a lot of industries that can reopen now, or at least start reopening slowly. I mean, there's a lot of things that could start reopening. And Trump is saying that, if there's no deal by tomorrow on this thing, he's going to do an executive order. And I don't blame him. And I don't like it. I don't like it when presidents use executive orders too much. I mean, the legislative body, Congress, or the legislative branch of our government should be the one that deals with doing this sort of stuff. But if they're in a gridlock, or you have zero cooperation from politicians, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you have zero cooperation from Republicans and zero cooperation from Democrats, then what is a president to do? Just twiddle his thumbs and watch the economy burn and watch his country burn? No, he's gonna have to act on it. And I wish that there was a way to make this work. I mean, normally I would say normally I would suggest, sit down, try and work out a deal, see what we can do. But in this particular situation, there is a problem of time being of the essence. People are suffering, people have zero income, and they need help. And giving the government just subsidizing people indefinitely isn't a long-term proper strategy or solution. You need to reopen the country eventually. You need to reopen the economy. People need to get back to work. All industries need to be functioning again, even if at not 100%. All industries eventually should be opening, and you can't wait until December or January of next year. You can't do that. I know for a fact certain companies aren't opening their offices again until next year. I know for a fact that certain industries have pretty much thrown their hands up in the air and said, "Well, we're not gonna do anything now. We're not gonna do anything at all right now," and that's not beneficial long term. I understand the concerns, and I'm not saying to be reckless. I'm not saying to just open things up willy-nilly and create another surge in coronavirus, but we also have to look at the consideration that the death rate of the virus is really small. I mean, this virus, sure, it's very virulent. It's very easy to catch, but the death rate is very small for most people. You're going to have a higher death rate for certain situations, certain groups of people, elderly, people with underlying health conditions, sure. And I think that if people were smart and not political, you could do things in a way where the people that are more susceptible to the virus can work remotely, can stay home, and the people that are less susceptible, or like they're not really in a huge amount of danger when it comes to the virus, then I would say let them work. Let them reopen. Yeah, that's what I mean, troll. That's what I mean, troll CC66. I understand some industries will not be able to open quick, so that's what I mean. I think there should be a more surgical approach. You shouldn't just indefinitely subsidize people for no reason. And I think that it would behoove most people. Like your average individual who works corporate. Most corporate jobs could probably reopen. I don't see any major reason for most corporate jobs not to reopen. Most industries could probably reopen. You could rearrange offices a little bit if you need to. You could put in some precautionary measures and extra cleanings, and you could do all sorts of stuff to try and reduce, like building owners can make some minor modifications to air filters, flowing systems, add extra filters in there, things like that. Filters that are rated for those kind of particle sizes that the COVID virus would fall into. But things need to reopen. And this whole politicization of medicine needs to stop. Hydroxychloroquine works. That should be made available. That should be used. Any medication that helps should be used. Any prophylactic kind of medication should be used. Will it work for everybody? No. Are there some side effects? Sure. Will it help most people? Absolutely. So there's no reason to prevent people from using it. There's no reason to keep the country in lockdown and states in lockdown and fining people for not wearing a mask. There's no reason. reasons for that. Not at all. Let me check out chat here for just a moment. Let's see here. So gyms are still shut down in North Carolina. Yeah. UBI coming now. See, you can't. That's not financially sustainable. That wouldn't work at all. I remember in 2009 being so sick from H1N1. I thought. One second, the things keep scrolling on me. The kid in my high school did. The school never. Yeah, I mean, I've seen kids getting sick at school so much, and the school has never done anything. Let's see. A couple of my friends got pretty sick, and then they got well. Yeah, I heard about that. I know. The gym owner in New Jersey taking that government on was so awesome. Yep, I agree. I think that he has to fight for his livelihood. I don't blame him. Yeah, they do stuff in the parking lot. I've seen dancing classes and yoga studios doing stuff in the parking lots. I mean, there are ways to work with the situation that we're in. And what about Georgia? Troll is saying, what about Georgia? The school that opened, the football team were working out together, closed gym, and they all tested positive for COVID. Okay, did any of them die? Did anybody around them die? I have not heard any reports from anybody that any of these I haven't heard anything about the entire team being wiped out. I didn't think they didn't die. Which is the point. The point is that this virus isn't super deadly. It's virulent, yes. You can catch it real easy. It's really, really easy to catch. And if you have underlying conditions, it could be fatal for you, absolutely. But the death rate, the percentile of people that die from the virus is actually really small. And if an entire football team can catch the virus and be just hunky-dory, staff members got it too, well, what precaution? And then the question becomes this, okay? The question becomes this: what precautions were they taking when these people were working out together? Because at a certain point, you also have to question if the school was doing anything proper to make sure that surfaces were clean, to make sure that they were testing people before they would let them in an enclosed area. You can listen. When I go to a doctor's office right now, or if I have an appointment, there's places where they can check you before you even walk in. They zap you with the infrared temperature thing, thermometer, to see what your temperature is. They can check you out that way. Was the school doing anything like that? If the school needs to do that before letting anybody into the building, do it. These temperature things are only $30. They don't cost that much. So to me, I think it becomes a pragmatic decision. Open where you can, take the proper precautions where you can, let the economy come back as it is. Certain industries that are going to take longer, you're going to have to do other precautions. You take them, or if you wait on the other industries, you subsidize the other industries that cannot open. You can also test positive and have no symptoms whatsoever, so that's true as well, Mom Patch. Absolutely. Yeah, the Marlins and the Cardinals sold out to saying the Marlins and the Cardinals had outbreaks in their facilities. They got back to work now, but they wouldn't be in the at-risk groups. Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. You have to consider. You have to look at the groups. You have to look at their health. You have to look at who in the school, for example, are the most vulnerable students. If you know you have a group of students who are most vulnerable, they have underlying conditions, they have birth conditions, things of that nature, absolutely tell them you stay home because you're at higher risk until we can guarantee you, or at least reasonably guarantee your safety. If this politicization of hydroxychloroquine wouldn't happen, If this didn't happen, people would have better access to prophylactic medication that would help the people that are at higher risk. But of course, the politicians got to play politics. The media has to play politics. They can't just, you know, do the right thing. Because God forbid they use their brain, you know? Yeah, they keep insisting it doesn't work even though there's plenty of studies that show it. There's plenty of studies that show that it works. So if they really cared about the science, as they say, or they really cared about flattening the curve, as they say, and they really cared about wanting to help people, they would release it. And the other thing, that really annoys me is the fact that, when it comes to any sort of argument about gun control, for example, they say, well, if it saves one life, well, isn't it worth doing? Isn't it worth getting rid of all guns? Well, if it saves one life, isn't it worth using HCQ? I would think so, according to that logic, but then it goes back to the whole issue of hypocrisy. Hey, Question C, welcome to the stream. First it was $14, now it's $99. Really? I wasn't aware of that. Sweden did not lock down at all. Yeah, that's true. The deaths have curved to 0, and they have 55 deaths per 100 million, which is roughly in line with every other country. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they had because of the smaller population, and with the deaths that happen, the death rate in their country is just a touch higher. Just percentile wise, but overall, yeah, they really didn't have that many deaths. It was on average with everybody else that completely locked down. So really the lockdowns didn't make such a huge impact compared to the other countries, So it is interesting to look at those numbers and look at how different countries handle different things. Yeah, sure. And yes, that's true. Cases are in a decline in Sweden. That's absolutely right. And other countries are seeing an uptick. Oh, Spain, yeah, Spain seeing an uptick. I think Italy has seen an uptick again, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, there's all sorts of ridiculous stuff that's happening because they insist on being more politically correct and not treating this for what it is. It's more about politics. So that's what it boils down to. It boils down to that it's just ridiculous. It's just really, really ridiculous that we're in this situation because politicians want to play politics. These people just have not been fit in dealing with the situation at all. And they're responsible for people's deaths. They're absolutely responsible for it, in my view. I think my phone's vibrating here. Yeah, they've tended towards 0. That's right, in Sweden. Italy isn't. But Spain, Italy, some cases in northern England, Belgium, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned about how Sweden handled this whole thing, and because they didn't do any sort of lockdown, and yet their numbers mirror the countries that did. So that does that does make you wonder whether the lockdowns really had any major effect whatsoever. Because if they didn't do anything different in the sense that like their numbers didn't do anything different with them keeping things pretty much open and not locking down at all, then it's like, well, what the heck, why are we locked down if it really doesn't make a major impact on the numbers? And I understand the concern of not locking down. I understand the concern of just keeping everything open, and because you do risk a major outbreak. I do understand that, but at the same time, you have to also consider what's happening with the virus itself, how this virus behaves, how it interacts, how it spreads, how do you treat it. How many people are going to die from jacking up food prices 25%? Yeah, well, there's that. There's definitely that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, costs of things have gone up in some areas. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I mean, it's to me, it's a really crazy situation because if you removed all the politics from the discussion, there was really no need for all these people to lose their jobs. There's no reason for people to die that have died. There's no reason for the economy to be slowed down to the point that it has been. So what's the point? What's the point of doing all this if it's not really helping? Oh, but the governor's got to tweet wear a mask. And they got to fine you if you're not wearing a mask, or they got to fine you 10K if you're, they rather ruin you financially because that's going to make things better for you. Like if I'm healthy and I'm out 10 grand, that's not helping me. Especially if I have no income, which a lot of people don't have right now. Yeah, that 2G gallon. You see like these little kind of it goes down and it bumps up, goes down, bumps up, goes down, bumps up, because people are, you got the protests, you have people start acting stupid. There's a lot of problems. I've read a lot of articles about New York City, about the economy, and how they're basically going back to how things were in the 70s. There is a deep regression that's happening from what I've read in New York. Financially, crime wise, in terms of the crime numbers that have gone up. So there's a lot of issues that New York is going to have to deal with once they come out of this, and a lot of it is of their own doing, unfortunately. Um, so I don't know. It's a shame because I think this is going to affect New York and Chicago and big cities like that, not just New York. This is going to turn into kind of like what happened with the 1970 Detroit riots. Detroit was decimated by the riots. It never recovered. It never recovered. And you have Minneapolis that was razed to the ground. And I don't think Minneapolis is ever coming back. So there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said about what's going to happen after when the economy comes back. I mean, New York will bounce back a bit. I'm not. It's a lot of industry, um, a lot of headquarters. There's a lot of business that happens in New York. But honestly, if you were in New York before this happened, and you had to shut down, or you had to move, or you had to do something, it's very difficult to make that decision to go back. Whether you are a company that had an office there, whether you were someone who lived there, whether you were someone that wanted to move there and or build a life there or build a business, it does make you think. I mean, like I said, I've been to New York. I like it. There's a lot of awesome things about the city. I think it's a fun city. I think you have some great people there. It's not a bad place if you know where to live and you know where to shop. And if you have a decent salary, I mean, you have to have pretty much a six-figure salary to really live comfortably there. Anything less than that you can do, but it's just your life is complicated tenfold, 20-fold. So it becomes a question of pros and cons at one point. And if there are too many cons, I don't blame those people for not going back and not working there anymore or what have you. I don't blame them. I really don't. Well, there has been an exodus of sorts. There has been people. This happened before. I mean, I've been reading articles about people leaving. Like New York has been bleeding population little by little. This wasn't something that happened just for COVID. There's been this hemorrhaging of New Yorkers leaving because of the rents just being too high and the cost of living being too high and the fact that you're just getting taxed through the ass by not only the state but the city as New York City as well, because somehow it's supposed to be some major privilege to be in New York City. So you have all these specific New York things that you pay for. Um, if leadership doesn't change, see, this is where leadership is really important. If leadership does not change in New York, excuse me, um, you're gonna have little to no chance for New York to come back to the way it was. Will you get a bit of a comeback? Sure. Will you get pockets where parts of New York are gonna kind of recover and come back? Yeah. Will you get? Will you ever actually have the New York that you have like before COVID, like in January? Ah, I don't know. I don't think New York can't be saved. I think that the problem is that there's going to be so much damage done to New York. It's kind of like I said about Detroit. Detroit has so much damage done that no matter what you do, it's never going to be that New York rival or Chicago rival that it was before the riots. That's the problem. It's gonna be like removing a leg, amputating a leg from a body. You're removing a part of the body, and that body will never be whole again. You can put prosthetics, you can make it walk again, you can make it work, but it's not gonna be the original body as it was. And that's the big problem with what's happening in places like California, places like Minneapolis, places like New York and Chicago. So we're at that point now where who knows how much you're gonna get a recovery from New York, and you don't know what. I mean, you have a bunch of people leaving California as well and going and moving to Texas, moving to all these more red states because they have better economies, they have more opportunities, they have better cost of living, they have better tax rates. And you have places in Texas that say, hey, you're coming out from outside of Texas, welcome to Texas, but don't vote what you voted for in California or whatever. But don't vote for what you escaped. Basically. And hopefully people will listen. Oh yeah, Giuliani really. Mom Patch is saying Giuliani really took control and cleaned up. Not Mom Patch. I'm sorry. G Gallon is saying. Giuliani really took control and cleaned up New York's image, although he was disliked for being a tyrant. Because I had some experience with New York and New Yorkers, I can tell you that there's mixed feelings about Giuliani. I don't think a lot of people outright hate him. You do have some that do. You have some people that just outright hate him because he's a conservative, he's a Republican, and New York is very Democratic, very blue. So you do have that. But when you talk to like more reasonable people, most people would say, yeah, there were some things I didn't like about him, but he did really clean up New York. He did make New York livable. He did a lot for New York. Oh, that's good to hear, Mom Patch, that you're leaving California. Yeah, I wouldn't live there. Yeah, I wish you the best, Mom Patch, in those endeavors because, oh, it's your story is not unique. I've heard of many of people leaving California because it's just not good. They're pretty much have the heel on their citizens, much like New York now, and it's just bad. Well, with moves, things are unpredictable. Things are usually unpredictable with moves, so you just gotta do what you gotta do. But I've been streaming already for how long here? Let me check it out. Yeah, about an hour and 46 minutes. Hey, we've been going on for a little bit, haven't we? So, kids, I need to do some shameless self-promotion, of course. So, hey, if you liked hearing my ramblings and musings and losing my train of thought, you can definitely support me so we can improve those production values. Yes. Um, and you can support me at streamlabs.com/theeternalabyss. Any level of generosity is greatly appreciated. And I understand right now it's very difficult with the COVID and no income and no work and all this kind of stuff and all that kind of craziness. But if you can support me via streamlabs.com/theeternalabyss, I'm eternally grateful. Even more eternally grateful I will be if you share and help me grow and expand and gain followers and viewers. I need more viewers. I need more followers. Go out there on Twitter, on Gab, on Parlor, on Minds. Subscribe, follow, share, like, and retweet. Excuse me. And if you're on YouTube and on the other video platforms, YouTube, DLive, Periscope, Bitwave, BitChute, Library, lbry.com, subscribe, hit notification bell, and share and help grow, because really that helps me even more than just a random donation, honestly. Growth is the best gift you can give me, and if you can help me out with that, I love you, I love you, I love you. So please help me out. I appreciate that. And with that shameless self-promotion, and with the major topics that I wanted to talk about pretty much talked about, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching on all the various platforms. I want to thank everybody on DLive. I want to thank everybody on Periscope. I want to thank everybody on YouTube. And I want to thank everybody, of course, on Bitwave. We're going to call it a night. I will tweet, sir. I go on tweet rage tweet rants. I do that, so keep on liking, following, and everything, and have a wonderful night, kids. And remember, as always, I have to sign off the way I always sign off. Of course. Don't be complacent. All right, take it easy, kids. Have a great weekend. We're gonna be here tomorrow morning. 10 a.m.-ish. The Abyss in the M. Get your coffee ready, because we're gonna have some coffee. We're gonna have some caffeine. We're gonna talk news. We're gonna have fun. Have a wonderful night. Bye, kids.